to another episode of Sheerio Talk. And today is a really special episode because it's the Mother's Day special. And for today, I'm inviting a Sheerio mom to be my guest because she's raising mini Sheerios and she's gonna tell us all these cute stories about her kids. But before that, we're gonna know more about her and how she ended up being a Sheerio herself. Welcome, Yolanda.
Hello, hello, hello. How are you?
I'm great. Happy to have you on.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Well, can you introduce yourself for everyone?
So, my name is Yolanda, and I am 32, a mother of three, and I live in New Jersey, in the United States.
Yeah, cool. Cool. And when did you hear Ed's music for the first time? What song was it?
I would definitely have to say it was probably Thinking Out Loud on the radio,
Oh.
that I realized that it was him. I've heard his A Team before, but I didn't realize like who it was.
Okay. But I think when the A Team came out, he wasn't that big in the US back then,
Right,
right?
right. Mm-hmm.
So I think thinking out loud, even in France, it was like the first single that really hit the public because it was that big love song, cheesy, and the clip with the dance. Like, I think that was the big moment for him.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, so on the radio, and then like, what made you go and try to listen to more of his music?
Divide. I'm a Divide girl. That's the album
Oh,
that really,
really? Like you said that about thinking out loud, but it's not that cool to you.
I wouldn't say that it's cool. It wasn't the song that like got me to keep wanting to listen to him, I think. Or maybe,
Hmm.
yeah, maybe it was, and that's what like led me to it. But I was like going through these phases of different kind of music. And then I think just hearing his music on the radio like right when Divide was released. That's what really, and I went out and I bought the CD. I wasn't like a huge Sheerio at that time, but yeah, Divide was the thing that did it for me.
Which song in particular then?
That's the thing is I bought the whole album and I loved it. That was really the whole thing. I mean, for me, because of my Spanish background, Barcelona is what really got me um
Oh, I like
enjoying it.
that.
The Latin the Latin infused, but
Yeah.
also Hearts Don't Break Around Here. That's definitely something
Mm-hmm.
that's like the lovey-dovey that I enjoyed as well.
Okay. So you had heard his music before buying the album, obviously.
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay. So you really found out who Ed was by listening to the CD.
Yes, yes. And then that's where it just like spiraled from there, and then I was just completely infatuated and enthralled and all of those words.
Okay. So I usually ask the guest what song were their music, like their music that turned them into a Sheerio.
Yeah, definitely hearing how he can be like a man of many genres, if
Mm-hmm.
that's how you would say it. And
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
like I think that's really what got me going is that Barcelona was so different. I feel see, I didn't know him at the time or I didn't know much of his music at the time, but I was like so impressed that he could add that kind of like Latin sound to his music. And I was like, wow, I didn't know that he could do this.
And Divide in particular, because
Yeah.
Divide, the point of that is like he has these two sides on Divide, and he like to emphasize that. So that's also something that you noticed as well when you discovered that album, basically.
Yeah.
Okay, but no song in particular.
Barcelona. Barcelona is probably the one that like definitely got me to become who I am
Okay, I'm noting that.
in this stereo world.
I need to know these things because I'm gathering basically a playlist with
Mhm.
all these songs that turned people into Cheerios, and I'm sharing that playlist on Discord. I think it's nice to be able to see which person connects to which song and how that
Right.
song relates to you and stuff. So, yeah, that's what I'm doing. Great. So, you are a Divide girl. Nice.
Yes.
Um, take me from the beginning. Which concert was your first?
Well, my first concert was in 2018 for the Divide tour. That was
Mm-hmm.
my first ever experience. I was pregnant with my youngest at the time, so it was just me and my husband. We got nosebleed seats,
Mm-hmm.
and because I was, expecting, and I didn't know how close, to all the sound and how it was going to be, so we decided to like get the seats that sit back farther
Yeah.
and enjoy it together, just the two of us, and it was
I wouldn't say the two of you.
yeah.
I wouldn't say the two of you. It's like almost the three of you.
Really, it was. Yes, it was. And that's, she's my Sheerio baby. And yeah, so the Divide tour, first time I only went to one concert that year, concert of his, period. And
Okay.
it was great.
Awesome. So you trained your baby
Yeah.
basically to hear Ed Sheeran and his live music in the belly. That's cute.
Yes, well, it was definitely something that we played often because, Divide came out in 2017. So listening to it that whole year and then getting pregnant, it was always playing and it's, still plays. And definitely, I didn't want to miss that opportunity, regardless of whether or not I was pregnant.
Oh,
So,
cool. I'm glad. I'm glad. And it has loads of different musics for like all you pregnancy moods and hormones. Like
yeah,
if you're feeling sad or if you're feeling angry or if you're feeling happy,
yes,
you have it all with Ed.
yes,
And that's beautiful. Um,
yes. Lots of
to,
genres.
yeah, and to make sure. So you saying you were putting Ed's music in the house, but did you like feed that music onto your children? Like, did you force them basically to listen, or
You
like
know?
did it happen like genuinely? Like they saw how that music made their mom happy, and they just liked it from themselves. Like, how do you feel that happened?
I think it really was just, influenced by me, but they never okay, for my younger two, they would never be like, "Mom, shut that off, shut that up." No, my oldest, yeah, she's like, "Oh, I don't want to listen to this." She's a huge Taylor Swift fan, my oldest one is. So
Mm,
she's just like, "I don't want to listen to Ed." But the other two, yeah, they enjoy, I don't know if it's they enjoy seeing me happy and then they want to be happy with with me, if that's the thing,
probably.
or but then they enjoy it as well, because if they didn't enjoy it, they would tell me, and I don't see that. I don't, not yet at least. I'm knocking on knocking on wood that they don't ever tell me that, but,
It's
um
like Ed saying it would be like there's music to rebel with. Like
yeah,
he's trying to figure this out for Lyra,
right?
and like what is she going to listen to that I don't like? What is she going to rebel with?
And that's something I love with him is that he is so well-rounded with his genres of music that he loves or likes, enjoys. He loves music in general. I think
Yeah,
that's something that I want to instill into my children is that they can have their preferences, but take take a listen to all the different types of music and appreciate everything because it's really it yeah, music is beautiful.
yeah. And what he says is there's no multiple genres of music. There
Right.
is the music you like and the music you don't like. And that's
Right.
it. What I really love about him is that he doesn't stop himself from evolving with his style of music. He's exploring all genres and he's never in a box. You know what I
Right.
mean? And people are trying to put him in a box. Like he's famous for the acoustic songs and the mellow songs and perfect and thinking out loud songs. But people really like when they notice that Ed raps or something, they're like,
Mhm.
is that really Ed Sheeran? Like they're surprised.
I mean, I think I was one of those people when I first heard Divide. What was there's
Mm,
that he raps and I was like, no way. Like what? This is crazy. I just enjoyed the fact that he can be multiple things, like he
yeah.
can yeah, just being well-rounded. I think not many artists can actually do that, and that's what makes him stick out for me at least. That's what draws me to him more than most artists.
Yeah, yeah. I totally agree. And so back to your kids.
Yeah, so my oldest, she is 12. She's the
Yeah.
Taylor Swift girl. She's not necessarily quite into Ed. But then my littlest Cheerios, my son is 9, and then my
Mm-hmm.
youngest
What's his name?
His name is Tiago. Yeah, he just is there with me all the time. He's my little concert buddy. And then my youngest is 5. Her name's Elowen, and she is right there wanting to do everything. With her age difference, though, it's a little bit hard to do things with her. We're slowly waiting for 2026 to come around so we can enjoy everything together.
Oh, that's nice. You're looking forward to do all these concerts with your kids now that they love Ed too.
Yes.
That's sweet.
Yes, 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 yes. My son, yeah, he's
Mm.
the one where he's my OG. He's my OG concert buddy.
So where did you all start? Tell me about that. Like
So
how did you get to take him to your shows?
well, it really started off with the listening party that I attended. So when Subtract came out, before Subtract came out, Ed had released, "Oh, have a listening party at your local uh, wherever." In some places,
Yeah.
the place that I went to is called Repo Records in Philadelphia, and that's where I took him. We sat there for several hours before they let us in because we wanted to
Hmm.
make sure that because they would only allow a certain amount of people in this tiny little record store, and we
Even
got
with
to
your
listen.
young son.
Yeah, he was 8 at the time,
What?
and so we sat there, just me and him, for half of the day because like, he had school. I ended up taking him out of school for half of half of the day, and
You
we
know
sat
that
there.
even like
Yeah.
people older than that won't do this. Like literally
Yeah.
they're like, how long are you gonna stay and wait for the concert for? Like the whole day? What? Are you insane? And like your son does that at 8 years old?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and that's where it really started. We sat there, half the day, and then we got to listen to the album in full early, because it was a listening party, and that was where it started. That was May 3rd, and then the album didn't come out until May 5th. So we had eyes closed before that, but
Yeah.
that was really what made me realize, like, oh, he can actually do this with me. Like, if he's okay to sit here for that many hours and keep him occupied, because really for children, that's what it is you have to keep you have to keep them occupied.
Mm.
And so then they don't drive you crazy.
So what
Um,
did you do?
it was not hard at all. Bringing coloring books or things that he likes. I don't think he had a Switch yet at the time, but, something like that. Some people say, "Oh, you give your child a Switch or a tablet." No, it really works. If you're going to sit there and queue for Ed all day, whatever you're going to have to do to keep them occupied and be able to still enjoy whatever you're doing, I would say go for
Mm.
it.
Yeah, for sure. All your tools that you have.
But then after that listening party, I took him to the Subtract show, just me and him, which was in
Yeah.
Philly as well. And that we know it was all seated, so we didn't have to queue for that. But
Mm.
he loved it. He loved just me and him to go. He loves those moments.
Oh, it's mom and son time, basically.
Yeah, exactly. And that maybe that's really what it was because he doesn't really get much time away from his siblings, so he probably
Yeah,
enjoyed
it's
it.
like he's 101. He has to enjoy it anyways.
Right.
Even if it's like sitting on the same place for hours. I want to talk to you about like how did you feel to include your kids in the concert, because I imagine that's a big organization, that's something you have to, like, it's not like just you can buy ticket and decide, oh, I'm gonna go like and grab your kids.
Yeah, it was very intense experience. As a mom, most moms try to prepare for things and you can't do things last minute. So
Mm.
this was something that we knew of. We purchased our tickets as soon as they dropped. We got them, we had to sit and wait in queue or whatever it was. And this was something that we already knew we were going to do ahead of time. So
Yeah.
preparing for it was kind of easy. We knew we had to make sure to bring snacks and food and where we're going to park and make sure there was a bathroom because my littlest was only 4 at the time. We had to make
Hmm.
sure that the bathrooms were accessible within, not very far
Hmm.
because, she was 4 and we didn't want any accidents, but we
Yeah.
still planned in case there was an accident. We had extra clothes and all of those things that it takes. I really couldn't have done it without that family of girls, though, that we queued next to. They kept my youngest very occupied. They had things to make bracelets, they had coloring books. I mean, we had our own coloring books, but of course, other people's things are much nicer than, than having your own.
Yeah,
And
sure.
so she was like adopted into that whole family, and it really, like, my first queuing ever like that, an all
Mm,
day queue, was for the Philadelphia show for the mathematics tour. And for with that was
okay.
the show with my whole family. And it was, well, minus my oldest because she didn't want to go. I wasn't going to force her into going if she didn't want to. So
Yeah.
I let her stay home. But yeah, it was a big family affair. And
And I've seen a post that you did after that show, and basically I thought it was so sweet because you were basically thanking each individual fan that you had met that day and somehow had helped you during that day. And so just to make things clear, so these people you didn't know before. You didn't really
right.
know any Sheerios before.
Right. I've never met people. So I did meet Martin, and Martin, everybody know anybody who's anybody that's a Sheerio knows Martin.
Yeah.
And I had been following him for a long time, but
Mm,
anybody else that I met that was in that post that you're talking about, I never
yeah.
met. But really it was
Okay.
that meeting these people in queue. I never once in my life thought that that was like a thing. I never knew that. It was
Wow.
beautiful. It was,
And even like what I feel is really, really touching is that your son, even at 8 years old back then, that's what he remembers.
yeah.
And usually at that age you're shy, you don't really know what you're doing there, in like only child in the like middle of all these adults. And he found his place too, and he just said that he loved meeting other Sheerios as well, and I find this really cool. And so you had that experience with him as well. That's amazing. So I want to get back to that post. So can I read it for people?
Of
Do you
course.
mind? Yeah. So you said, "Happy Sheerios Day. Without these people in my life, I'd be really lost right now. I've had so many amazing experiences with so many of these people this year. I finally found my people. The ones who really understand me and my crazy, because let's be honest, they are just as crazy, if not crazier than I am."
Yeah.
So,
Is that crazy that that brings tears to my eyes? Just like, because it really is like, without these
wow,
people that I met this past year, it would not be like, nothing would be the same.
wow.
Yeah.
That's really powerful, the words you're using. And I want to talk more about like the sentences you wrote actually, because first of all, you said you found your people. And
Yeah.
like, that's the point. Like, we're not calling it the Shearer family for nothing,
Right.
because you you had your kids, of course, to go with you, but you found your people, and you're justifying this by explaining that you thought you were crazy.
Oh yeah. People who are so invested in an artist, like,
Hmm.
there's people who don't get it. There's
Yeah.
people who don't understand how an artist can change your life just by their lyrics and their sounds that they provide us, really, and how
Hmm.
much it inflicts like happiness onto people. And my people, they get that. They're the same. They feel the same. They feel that this person literally saved their sanity, their lives practically. So, yeah, and I thought I was crazy because I was like how invested I was into this artist. And it's not, some people say that's not normal. Well,
AKA crazy, but
yeah.
you personally feel like you're crazy.
Now I don't. Now I don't. Now that I know that there's other people out there that, are just as passionate about this, and I don't call it crazy anymore. I call it
Exactly.
passionate, and that are just as
Exactly.
passionate as I am. I think it's nice.
Yeah, I wanted to clear this up. Yeah, because I feel like, in a general way, especially with women, like when the mention of fangirling is there, it's basically seen as this negative aspect and like a groupie. And I don't like
Right.
that word because it almost sounds like someone who's aggressive, someone who's not respectful, someone who's a stalker, or you know, it
Right.
instantly shows this image of someone crazy, someone who screams, who's loud, someone who's not down to earth, basically. And
Hmm.
it's so different from reality.
I'm not gonna lie though, there has been times that I've definitely screamed and was not on this earth, but it is yeah,
But
it's
there's
humbling.
nothing wrong with that. What I'm saying, it's not about the screaming part. It's about how people see it, you know?
Yes.
It doesn't mean that because we dance or we scream or we're loud or we jump, like we live in the moment and that's beautiful. It doesn't mean that we're not respectful and we are stalkers. That's
Right,
that's not
right.
that's not it.
Oh,
Um
right.
and if we compare that to basically fans of sports, like men with their sports team, football and soccer and all these things. I mean, people won't judge that because that's common, and these sports fans are allowed to jump and they're allowed to scream in the stadiums,
Right, right.
if you think
Why
about
can't we
that.
do the same thing for what we have the same passion for?
Exactly. And they know their team's names and they know like all these players, and
Yep.
very invested in them, and they buy the merch and they wear the shirts, and they're really upset when the team loses and stuff, and
Mhm.
really loud when the team wins, and they are like driving and they are loud in the city, basically even louder than the rest of us. But
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
it's not seen as crazy. It's passionate people.
Right. I agree. And
So,
it's they're both forms of entertainment.
yeah.
We do not need football or any sports to live. We don't need the singers, the artists to live. They're all just entertainment. But
Hmm.
it's the same thing. If people can yell and scream and be happy for a football team or soccer or whatever, why is a lot of women do get frowned upon when they do the same thing for their favorite artist, regardless
Yeah,
of whether or not it's a man or woman, too. Like, if their
exactly.
favorite artist is Taylor Swift, like, people still think that they're crazy. Like, I don't understand to me, it's the same thing. If you're passionate
Yeah,
about it, speak up and do it and do what
yeah,
you feel like you like to do.
yeah. So we don't want to use the word crazy.
No, no. And like I said, I don't feel like I'm crazy anymore. I would just call it passion.
And I'm happy to welcome you in the Sheerio family, and that
Thank you.
you feel like you belong, and that you realized all that, and you're allowing yourself to.
I think I also judge myself though of like why like am I a huge Cheerio? Do I am I worthy enough to call myself that? Because I also am very busy with my own children and I can't be as involved in some of the things that other people
Yeah,
can be
you feel
involved
that
in and
responsibility towards
right,
them.
right.
Mm.
So, and I think it really is, a lot of people sit there and say, "Oh, well, I'm the biggest fan." No, I'm the biggest fan. Well, I don't think we should sit here and decide who the biggest fan is. I think each person has their own like reasons why they think that they're the biggest fan or whichever. And really, we should stick together and just call ourselves we are the biggest fan group and work
Yeah,
together. Yeah.
yeah, I
So,
agree. And there's no point.
yeah.
And I don't see the point of comparing yourself, or like what does that even mean?
Yeah, I don't know. All I know is that I enjoy Ed's music and I enjoy what he stands for. I think that's a big thing too, is like what he stands for and how down to earth he is. You know, that's what draws me in more to him.
Yeah, of course. And I want to just you just talked about, because you have kids, that you have this responsibility and you don't feel like you are that free to do things. That can we just talk more about that, like
Yeah.
maybe money wise, or like what's your perspective on that?
Oh, absolutely. Well, just as much as anybody else knows right now is that going to these things is not free.
Yeah.
So it takes a lot of preparation, it takes a lot of money, and it takes a lot of time. And without those three things, then you absolutely can just you can't do those things. But yeah, if you have the money, do it. go see these things, experience these things. It's very important to me, at least, that they get done because they're look at how I can put a smile on my kid's face. Like they enjoy these things. And I think experiences are better than items. Like I'd rather give my child an experience than a toy or something like that because they will sit there and talk about the experience over and over and over and over again.
Yeah,
But and
that's
what's
true.
what's nice though about my situation now is that like now that I have all these friends that are Sheerios and we are able to collectively go and plan things and then it makes things cheaper and I enjoy that because if I didn't have this group, this fan group, I wouldn't be able to do half the things that I was able to do this past year. Um
Oh, that's so nice what you just said about that friend group. Can you tell me more of how can you rely on that friend group? What is how is it different from other friends in real life? Or like as a mom, did you feel like you had these other friends that still understood you as a Sheerio, or like were you more like an isolated mom or
I would definitely say I'm an isolated mom. I don't really have a big friend group, especially because I grew up in Wisconsin and coming to New Jersey, it definitely, put me far away from my family and friends and whatnot. So, but I also invest myself and my time into my kids instead of trying to like hang out with friends or stuff like that. So my friends group was really just not existent. And now since last year, getting to meet all these other Sheerios, now I have like a huge friend group, and they really make a huge difference in my sanity, because like I said, I felt like I was crazy before. But and then just being able to connect with them on a personal level too, because I care deeply for people and yeah, I think without them it would not be the same. I literally need these other Cheerios to be able to function.
wow,
As
that's
sad as that
awesome.
sounds, but yeah.
No, but that's great. So it's not only like cheer your friends you go to concerts with, it's like your life friends.
Yeah, oh, I mean, because my life is really online right now. Like a lot of the things that I do is online and so yeah. And then the girl Hannah that was in that post that you had saw, she's my rock and she's the one who really gets me into doing a lot of this stuff and for that involves going to see Ed and including me in things and stuff like that and um
Including you.
well because I'm a mom in our group I kind of don't see as many things and as well as this girl named Lucy she thinks of me she hey make sure that you saw what we said in the group because I want you involved or yeah so they look
Oh,
out for me.
so you stay in the loop.
I can't constantly be doing that because of the kids and because I'm just have a heavy, like, busy life at the moment.
Of
So,
course.
these girls make sure that I'm included and things like that, and I really couldn't do things without them.
That's even better. What can I say? I mean, I understand why you thank them.
Yeah, Hannah was the one who got me to have that conversation with Ed on Radiohead. It was me, Hannah, and Danielle, and we had that conversation with Ed and like a lot of these things without Hannah, like I would not have been able to do without Hannah.
Yeah, yeah, I remember that station head, I believe it was. Um Listening
Was it
party
Station?
and
Yes, sorry, it's Station Head, not Radiohead. Radiohead is a is an artist,
yeah.
my bad.
Yeah, but if the listeners don't know what we are talking about, go back and listen to Darcy's episode, probably the second part, and you'll know what we're talking about. And there's a few things in there for you. But yeah, I'm really happy to hear these things and that you're not alone and that you're like they help you and that you're allowing yourself to still do these things for you even like because I know it's difficult when you have children and you're a mom and you have to prioritize them over you sometimes and maybe you have this guilt as well that you're not be able to take them to other concerts that they wish they would go with you because they love Ed Sheeran too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's been plenty of times that I was not able to take the kids. Well, for the first thing was the Hard Rock show in New York City on July 18th. I got phone call the night before saying, "Hey, somebody wants you as their plus one. Can you go tomorrow night?" I was not, being somebody's plus one, I don't have an option to bring my kids. So my son was very upset that he did not get to be involved in that, but he obviously got over it. Um, but yeah, it's hard to not be able to take them all the time because I do see that they love to go and experience and see and hear him. But,
Yeah.
2026 comes around. My goal is to take the kids to at least 5 of the shows when he comes back around for a tour. So that's
Five?
5, yeah.
Five would be great. Wow.
Yeah. Well, and that's just with them. My goal for myself is to go see 10 shows the next time he tours, but 5 of the closest ones I want to make sure that my kids can go and see. That's my
I mean,
goal.
if you're able to do that, they will
Yeah.
cherish those memories forever, I'm sure. And like you said, these experiences are not like just toys they will outgrow of. They will
Right.
keep that forever. And I mean, Ed won't be doing this forever as well. So
Right.
I think if you have the opportunity, you have to take it while you can. Mm.
Well, and this is only as long as they're still enjoying Ed. I'm not gonna sit there sit there and force them to go with me if they don't want to. And children, they change their minds or they change their preferences very quickly. So we'll see how it is in 2026.
Yeah. But for now we know at least they love
Right.
it. Your son just told us.
Yeah, the Multiply anniversary show is coming up, and he's a little upset that I'm not taking him to that.
But you can
Yeah.
still FaceTime them maybe.
Oh, absolutely. I FaceTimed them for all of the shows that I went to that I didn't have them with. So, like,
Did you?
yeah, the Hard Rock show, I FaceTimed them for Eyes Closed, as well as the Stephen Hawk House, I believe. I attempted to FaceTime them. I don't remember if I even got through to them very well because the service wasn't that great.
I feel like it's so nice because usually when people are FaceTiming people on the concerts, you see their friends, you see their bestie, you see their
Yeah.
boyfriends.
Yep. No, no.
For you it's your kids.
It's my kids, yep. Every time, Eyes Closed is my youngest's, favorite song, so anytime that it comes on, I have to make sure to try and FaceTime her so she can see it live with me. When I met Ed at the Philly cheesesteak place, I did let him know, "Hey, Elowen, she's the one who helped me make these shoes," and he said, "Thanks, Elowen." So it was a cute
He
little moment.
did?
Yeah,
Oh wow. Well,
yeah.
we have to fill the audience in because they probably don't know what you just talked about.
Yeah.
Um, so can
Yes.
you tell us the story, please?
So the story with the Philly cheesesteak place, so, he went around during the mathematics tour in the North America, he would always do these like little like jobs and stuff like that. And the job that he did the day of his Philly show was he went to a place it was a cheesesteak place. We all thought that it was probably going to be like a popular cheesesteak place.
What
But
do you
then when
mean?
he so there's these 2 cheesesteak places in Philly, and I believe one is Pat's and another one is Gino's. See, I've never gone to either of them, so I think those are the names. But there's always like a big debate of what is the best cheesesteak place in Philly. And so we thought that he was gonna, when he put on his stories on Instagram, like, oh, he's craving a cheesesteak. So we kind of knew he was gonna do a cheesesteak place. So when we found out that
Okay.
it wasn't one of those cheesesteak places, that it was actually this place called Phillips Steaks. So I took my first Uber ever with my son to this cheesesteak place. We got out of queue. My son or my husband and my daughter stayed in line to save our spot. And it was me and my it was me and my son. We took our first Uber over to this cheesesteak place, and we were a little bit late because I didn't see the story at first, and I didn't really know if I wanted to because I've never Ubered and I was nervous. And I eventually went and saw this really big line. And still to this day, I feel so bad because I kind of cut in front of people because I had to give these shoes to him. These shoes I painted for him specifically, and I wanted to try and give them to him. And the night prior at the Subtract show, security guards almost took them away. They actually did take them away and put them in a locker because I was trying to hold them up to see if he would see them.
Oh
And
no.
yeah, so and he's like, "You're never gonna get them to him. You're never gonna get these shoes to him. So just let me take them and put them away." So I said, "Okay, okay, fine." Enjoy the rest of the show. And then come this time the next day, I was actually able to give the shoes to him. My intentions were to try and trade the shoes so I can get his. But he
Mm.
he kindly told me no, he likes them too much. So I did give them to him, though, the ones that I made, and my son helped me design them and paint them, and yeah, it was a great experience. My son got to see him up close and say hi, and we were all nervous. We were so nervous, like being that close to him, and yeah, it was quite the experience.
Yeah, plus he didn't do this kind of little jobs, around in when he did the tour in Europe. He only did that in the US. So
Yeah,
you were really lucky to be able to go to one of those, and plus like meet him and you know give
right.
give him your gift you had prepared. But how did you think of painting shoes for him?
So I know he's like a big sneakerhead, and haven't really I didn't really look into it a lot until then. And he had ended up getting like a pair of shoes made for him for his tour, and he still wears them, his mathematics sneakers that,
Yes.
um, like I knew somebody did that for him, but I thought, like, why not just make a pair of shoes for him myself and just see if I can attempt to get something traded to me so that I could cherish it forever, you know? Um,
Hmm.
and so that's what I did, and I thought I would just try and make the shoes something that, it was incorporated in the mathematics, tour, which was like the shoes had all the different colors and,
Have you
um
seen him wear them around on the tour or
I
no?
have not. No, I have not, which is okay. He doesn't really wear a lot of the stuff that he gets, I think, unless it's like a bracelet or something that's easy to put on and whatnot. And I think that his shoes are very important to him, like the
Yeah,
type of
he
shoe.
he did
So,
this video of like this big sneaker place. I don't
yes,
remember what it was a while ago, and like they take famous people around sneakerheads, and they talk about these sneakers, just like he did for the watches, and like something like that. And
right.
after that, they can buy something on that shop, and so we know. But recently he did a concert and someone handed the shoes like in the crowd. Someone from the crowd just got them the shoes. Like Ed
Yeah,
noticed and he
yeah.
grabbed them, like the security helped of course, but um so that's weird that they stopped you that time.
Well, so the place that I tried to get the shoes to him, it was a sit down, like everybody had their own seats, and I was like farther back.
Okay.
Yeah, so there was no way that he would have been able to really actually just grab it, like his security.
Yeah.
It was the venue's security that grabbed him because people apparently were upset that I was holding up the shoes in between songs or something like that. So,
Mm.
uh,
Yeah, it wasn't
so
really the same. Yeah.
right, it wasn't quite the same. And that's when I actually met, one of my Sheerio goats in my chat, Lucy. I didn't actually meet her. She found me because I was in one of or a couple of her videos, and she's like, "I think this is you in my video." And I was so ashamed because I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I cut in front of you, but I needed to get these shoes to him." She's like, "No, that's okay. I got a free cheesesteak from Ed Sheeran. I'm okay." Like, so and that's where it it sparked so many friendships just by this one single day. And if I didn't go to that concert, I would not be in the same situation I am with my Sheerios and my friends, and I'm very grateful.
And it all happened because Ed wanted to do these things to surprise the fans and
Yeah,
experience the cities more and not be like this ghost in the town or inaccessible artist. And I
right.
mean, it's one more thing that Ed does. He's so creative,
Yeah,
I must
isn't he?
say. I saw even like cute pictures with your daughter, Eloise, and she's wearing this Ed merch, but
Yeah,
it's like adult size. We can tell, and she's floating
yeah.
in it.
She is, she is. Yes, well, because, I ended up getting that t-shirt at the Subtract show in Philly, and they didn't have any children's sizes. So
Yeah.
I did my best to just get the smallest size that they had. And because I needed something for her to wear as well, I wanted her to have merch, and even on the website, there's not many kids sizes of anything. So
Mhm.
yeah, we did what we could. We tied it up a little bit, and she is floating in it. But she still loves it. I did get a different shirt for her that fits much better the next day.
Yeah.
But it was an Equals shirt. Equals was already released. It wasn't like the newest album,
Yeah.
but who cares? She loves it. She wears it to school. And
Even to school?
oh yeah, she talks to me about how she tells her teacher all the time about going to these concerts, and then she'll also say, "Well, my teacher too, she loves him as well." And like, she it means a
Does
lot for her as
she?
well. Yeah. I mean, I have high hopes that eventually, somehow we'll get some kind of thing together for kids, especially that maybe deals with music or something, and then down the line try and get Ed to help
Oh my
somehow.
God,
But
like, did you see what he just did? Like, he keeps going into this music school.
isn't that amazing? Yeah.
Yes.
And that's what
It's,
really, like, encourages me to do something similar, like, just to get together, like, a kids, like, nonprofit or something, and, like, because music is dying in school, like, the schools do not get enough
mm,
funding for music programs and theater and stuff like that, and I think it's so important that parents and people of the community, like, put in their efforts to help make sure that the kids have some kind of music, because it really, like, music saves so many people's lives, like, mentally, and so it's really important to me.
it's not taken so seriously as a job, as a career too. And
Yeah.
even like in other countries, I think it's worse. But
Yeah. It's sad though, because look at how many people, it's their life, it's their career, and it does make a big difference in people's lives. I think it should be taken more seriously.
yes. I mean, I'm so proud of Ed for doing all that. And I mean, maybe if he keeps doing it, other artists will join as well. And
Yeah.
yeah, everything will be improving in that regards. And I'm glad we brought this subject up because I'm also trying to highlight, all the projects that the Sheerios want to do. And maybe one day, if someone hears you and say, "Oh, maybe, yeah, I want to do something like that towards kids and music too," and maybe she hears that and that sparks some other lights, and you know, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, what they do influences other people. So what Ed does, it influences other people to go out and do the same thing for their community, or even
Sure.
if it's not their community, somebody else's community. And I think that's what really draws me more to Ed than anything. I mean, obviously his music is absolutely wonderful, but him as a person is what's great, because you don't see that much with artists. You don't see that much with people who make it big and have lots of money. You don't see them doing those humanitarian things, and I
Yeah.
think that's really what makes me enjoy him the most.
Yeah, and he does it on his free time and nobody's asking him.
Right, exactly, exactly. And it's a lot of the time with the kids too, as a mom, I feel like that's so important. Very important.
Yes. And now that he has kids himself, I think
Yes.
he understands it even more.
Yes, and I'm sure.
Well, this Mother's Day wouldn't be so special as an episode without a Mother's Day game special. So, we're gonna take a little break, and when we come back, we're gonna play a game with Thiago and Eloine. Hey guys, I just wanted to let you know that the game will be posted in another episode because it's already too long. But look out for the Mother's Day game special episode out very soon. Thank you. Because it's actually Mother's Day.
Yeah.
You prepared a special surprise for your mom, actually. She doesn't know what it is.
What did you guys get me?
Uh, it's inside of it, it's like a plant, and I color.
Inside of what?
Yeah, it's an Ed Sheeran Mother's Day card.
Yeah. And she hasn't seen it before, yeah?
No.
I bet she can't wait to see it. So come down and show the card to your mom.
What do you got for me? Yes. I love it. Oh my goodness, it is so cute. It says, "Happy Mother's Day, you are the best mom ever." And it's a Ed Sheeran guitar with a rainbow and some stars on it.
Wow.
And then so it's like that's like the oh, it's just in there? Okay, I can take it out. Okay. Aw. Best mom ever. Happy Mother's Day. Dear mom, thank you for
Oh.
everything you do for me. That is why you are the best mom ever. Love, Tiago. Aw, and it's a picture of him that says, "I love you, mom." And
Ah.
he wrote the mathematical symbols on the card with a pick, with an Ed Sheeran pick. And
Oh,
then
wow.
another little thing. Aw, he has like a it's like a little picture of a plant of flowers, and it gives reasons why mom is really good at something, or it's very sweet. He says, My mom is really good at cooking. My favorite thing to do with my mom is go to an Ed Sheeran concert. My mom is special because she makes the best dinners ever. I love my mom
Aw.
because I haven't seen this is so cute. I love my mom because she spends lots of time with me. I know my mom loves me because she takes care of me. Aw, that is so sweet. And
That's
what do you got?
really
What do you got for me?
thoughtful.
Aw, and Elowen just gave me something too. What is it?
Oh.
Eyes closed.
Eyes closed.
From Elwin for Mommy.
Aw.
Thank you, Eloise. She did
Mm.
say it was your favorite.
She well, it's her favorite is Eyes Closed.
And I got a picture with the Pokemon one.
Yeah.
And he's wearing the blue shirt and some broccoli he's eating.
Yeah, do you remember that video where he has all the Pokemon at the
But
table
they're
with
not
him?
real Pokemon.
Ah,
Well,
yeah, I do remember.
yeah, so
And
she
he
she drew
offered
that
them
scene.
cereals.
And
Yeah. And yeah, so
and
she drew that little picture on the card. It's so
and
cute.
I got the table over the D for Ed and
Mhm.
eyes closed.
Mhm.
And the inside is a big rainbow and a rainbow heart. It says, Happy Mother's Day. I heart you.
Aw, you're so
And I got
sweet.
a
Wow.
rainbow.
And at 5 years old, you wrote that on your own? By yourself?
Did you write that all by yourself?
No.
You had a little bit of help from your teacher, didn't you?
Okay.
This is your handwriting. You drew all that?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's very sweet.
That's really sweet and thoughtful and beautiful words. Thank you
Aw.
for doing this for your mom. I'm sure she has an amazing Mother's Day.
Yes, it's gonna be so good.
Amazing.
She's still going. She's still talking.
Now, on the podcast, nobody can see what the card is. But after, we're going to do an Instagram post and we're going to take photos of that so we can share with everyone and everyone will be able to see the gifts you just gave your mom. So exciting!
Yay!
Bye bye, Halloween. Thank you.
Bye.
So, how sweet was that?
That was so sweet. That was so adorable. That was very nice. He always listen, Tiago is always sweet, and those really do mean a lot to me, so it's very nice.
I can tell he's a really sweet boy.
Oh, yes, he very much so is. I'm very proud of my kids.
Well, that just made the Mother's Day episode even more special. And we're back to finish the interview. There's one more question that I need to ask you. And actually, this question is not for me, it's a question that another guest left for you.
Yes, I'm ready.
The question that was left for you is, would you say Ed healed you? And in what way did Ed or his music heal you?
I think Ed healed me in a couple different ways. Just his music obviously is very strong, and especially Subtract. Um, Subtract was a very sensitive album, and I think a lot of people can relate to it, including myself. And I think knowing that other people, especially celebrities, go through the same thing, I think that is a major thing. And yeah, I definitely was healed by that album. Um, but also another way that he has healed me, I think, is introducing me to my people. You know, that I
Oh,
didn't realize how much I needed those people in my life to make me feel good, to make me happy, to make me, now, of course, my kids and my husband make me happy, but like having those other people has made me improve my mental state. Like, and yeah, I think, yeah, I don't know whether or not Ed realizes that or not, but how he brings people together is incredible.
yeah. I think he mentioned it. Like, I think he's definitely aware of that, but to that extent, maybe not. Like, it goes beyond his expectations, I'm sure.
Right. Well, because it's not just his music, it's how he brings other people together.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Very, very touching.
Like, that comforts me to hear all these things because that's part of the reason I wanted to do this podcast. And in the end, in our different ways, we can relate to that and
Right.
the connection part. And that's a really important aspect. So thank you for that. That's beautiful.
Thank you. Well, thank you for the question, whoever asked it.
Haha, I'm not gonna say. Like, it's really random and you can't prepare for that question. So it has to be really genuine, the response.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Yolanda.
Thank you
That
for
was a
having
really
me.
fun and the cutest episode we could ever dream of.
Aw. Well, I'm so glad that you picked me.
I'm so glad I had you. And yeah, I'm looking forward to see these mini Sheerios grow and yeah, see if you get that bucket list with the 5 concerts for the years to come.
Yes, you'll have to wait until then.
Sure, sure.